Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Johnson, and today we're here right now, but we're going to be going back to the conclusion of U.S. amateur golf just as soon as we bring you up to speed on what's happening in thoroughbred racing today. Here at Saratoga, the older handicap runners going 1.25 miles, and the big horse here is unaccounted for. He's the one that took the Whitney 3 weeks ago, a little longer distance today. 1.25 miles is the same distance as the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. The weather here in New York is beautiful, another day in paradise. And in the nation's heartland, another race with important implications for Breeders' Cup Day, which of course will be at the end of October at Belmont Park. But at Arlington International today, it's the $500,000 Beverly D at 1 3/16 on the grass. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And our colleague Bob Newmeyer is in Chicago. Bob?
We're unlike Saratoga. The weather here, Dave, is hot and sticky and humid. But that's the kind of racing we expect here at Arlington in the International Festival of Turf Racing, kicked off this afternoon by the Beverly D. 7 of them traveling 1 3/16. Let's run down the field for you now. We're going to begin with number 1, Bolver Ortana. She's the pride of Canada. She's been remarkably consistent over the years. 19 of 23, either first or second. She's being held at 6-1. Number 2, a European Invader in La Confederation. Beautifully bred. Excellent 3-year-old. She's been off form this year. Number 3 is Alice Springs at 9-2. She ran some bang-up races in Florida, and on her best game could be a factor today. Then, locally, Go-Go Jack and Fapitas are the 2 Arlington hopefuls. Then we come to the West Coast Interests All Pride with Chris McCarron, and possibly perfect. She'll be the favorite with Corey Nakatani. That's the field for the Beverly D.
Since 1864, and a big crowd on hand, a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and it's the Saratoga Cup that's the featured attraction today. Hi, Dave Johnson, along with Charles C. Candy, and with only 9 weeks to the Breeders' Cup, how is the Classic field shaping up, Charles?
Well, Dave, Cigar is still the early favorite for the Classic. He's right here at Saratoga. He's breezed several times. He will be running in the Woodward Stakes, which we'll be televising on the 16th of September. And, of course, Thunder Gulch was absolutely terrific in winning the Travers last weekend. And he'll be seeking to add to the impressive record of 3-year-olds in the Breeders' Cup Classic. They've won 5 of the 11 runnings. And, of course, we'll also see today whether Unaccounted For can duplicate his Whitney performance and earn himself a berth in the Classic.
But the conditions a bit different for the Saratoga Cup. It's 1/8 of a mile or a furlong longer than the Whitney that he won 3 weeks ago. The purse is $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds and up. And now for more on the race itself and to meet the field, let's say hello to the man who'll call the action. Here's Tom Durkin.
The Saratoga Cup was first run here in 1865, and for decades it was run as a 2.5-mile marathon. Well, eventually it fell out of favor about 40 years ago. But in 1993, they expanded the meeting here at Saratoga by a week. So they needed an extra stakes race to fill the void, so they resurrected the Saratoga Cup. And it comes nicely now in the meeting, 3 weeks after the prestigious Whitney Stakes and a furlong farther. The top 3 finishers from the Whitney return in the Saratoga Cup. Let's meet the field. Number 1 is Silver Fox, 3rd in the Whitney. Adds blinkers today, and why not? Because since number 2, Unaccounted For, added the hood, he has become a mild sensation. His Whitney victory was terrific. You're Missing the Point will be ridden by Julie Crone. She could be dressed in white satin. She's getting married in 2 hours. Get me to the church on time. Le Carriere, ultra consistent, not worse than 2nd in a year, and a game 2nd in the Whitney. Warm Wayne, more like lukewarm Wayne since the spring. And Swindle, Alan Jerkins, a top trainer with top horses, but doesn't always use top jockeys. Katie Sweeney gets the call here. She's only had 6 mounts this meeting, but she's won on Swindle a couple of times and gets the call again today.
Well, the Breeders' Cup Classic is weight for age, but today, Charles, we have a handicap.
Do we ever? If weight is a great equalizer, it could level this field today. Look at the huge shift in the weight since the Whitney. Unaccounted For picked up 6 pounds off his victory. So Scotty Schulhofer says he just hopes that he's as good as handicapper Howard Vettel thinks he is.
And speaking of weight, the day after the Travers, a horse won here at Saratoga carrying 127 pounds. And not a steeplechase horse or even a colt or a gelding.
It was the nation's best older filly, Heavenly Prize, making an absolute shamble of the John A. Morris. She had been considered an automatic for the Breeders' Cup Distaff, but after that overwhelming performance, her trainer, Shug McGahee, is seriously considering trying her against the boys in the Classic.
We're not going in there to really cause some sparks, but we're going in there, if we did go, we would be going to win, but I think it'd be fun to give it a chance. It's never been done before. She is an exceptional filly. Cigar and Thunder Gulch, and I'm sure there'll be others, are exceptional colts, and they've been fun to watch run this year, but you know, it might be the time to give it a chance.
Well, several factors will go into that decision. One, they must evaluate her performance in the Bell Day next month. And also, they've got to be confident that inside information would be a successful color bearer for the stable in the distaff.
But think about Heavenly Prize. We saw her as a 2-year-old finish third to Phone Chatter in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Then last year at age 3, she was second in the distaff. This year, she's racing to the Breeders' Cup, and with the Saratoga Cup and the Beverly D here today, so are we. Racing to the Breeders' Cup is brought to you by the Breeders' Cup, racing's $10 million championship. By Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in the $2 million Breeders' Cup turf at Churchill Downs, where it was held in 1994. Well, what's going to happen this year and who's going on to the Breeders' Cup? Let's find out from our colleague at Arlington International, Bob Newmeyer.
Thank you very much, Dave Johnson, on a hot, sultry day here at Arlington Heights, Illinois, just outside Chicago, Illinois, the city with the big shoulders. And you mentioned the Breeders' Cup, and maybe possibly perfect. Is it possible for the Breeders' Cup? She's been terrific this year for Bobby Frankel. She's the prohibitive favorite in this race this afternoon, the Beverly D, to be contested at 1 mile and 3/16 over a firm turf course. Frankel won, of course, this race with, I should say, won the Ramona handicap with possibly perfect just 3 weeks ago. It was a slow-paced affair, but she beat Alpride that day, and Alpride is in this race today. Alpride bled that day. She'll be treated with Lasix. But possibly perfect in the red silks, came off the rail, actually into the 3-path. They dawdled through a 1/2 mile in 49 seconds, and now a quick sprint to the finish, and you see the explosion that possibly perfect used in fine fashion for Bobby Frankel to win the Ramona and beat Alpride, the second choice today, at 7-2. Now, how about another competitor, another 5-year-old mare? As you look at possibly perfect, getting set to get on the turf course here at Arlington. Again, 7 of them to go 1 mile and 3/16. Interesting kind of pace tactics. We're going to watch for a possible chess match between Chris McCarron, who rides number 6, Alpride, and Corey Nakatani, who rides this wonderful mare, possibly perfect. There's no real legitimate speed in this race. All 7 of these fillies and mares like to run on or near the lead. So the issue is, will McCarron go for the lead with Alpride from the 6 hole, or will Nakatani go from the 7 hole? They'll be watching each other throughout this race. Bull Ruritana, a big factor from the hedge for the call of the Beverly D upstairs. To the voice of Arlington, Kevin Gomer.
They're at the post, and they're off immediately, and Bold Ruritana came out running for the lead. Up on the outside, that's Alpride, and possibly Perfect's going for the lead from the extreme outside, and Fapitas is in between horses positioned up close. They race in front of the grandstand the first time, and Chris McCarron aboard. Alpride has taken the lead. Fapitas along the inside second. There's not a lot of pace in this race. Possibly Perfect up on the outside running in third. La Confederation is running fourth down at the rail. Go-Go Jack running in fifth, and then it is back to Bold Ruritana, and Alice Springs trails the field. The first quarter of a mile was clocked in 24-2, and now they start around the clubhouse turn. Alpride's the one to catch. They've opened up a length and a half. Possibly Perfect has her in her sights, though. She's running second on the outside. Fapitas down at the rail is positioned in third. La Confederation with Clear running up on the outside is fourth, and Go-Go Jack is moving a bit closer now in fifth, and Go-Go Jack is really eager, tugging hard on Randy Romero. And Bold Ruritana down at the rail, and Alice Springs trails the lead, but she's only only 6 lengths from the front. They raced the opening half in 48-4, and Al Pride has the lead. Possibly Perfect moved a bit closer in second. La Confederation is poised on the outside, running in third. Fappy Tassin at the rail fourth, and then it is Alice Springs who moves onto the scene on the extreme outside, running in fifth. Go-Go Jack is sixth, and at the back it's Boulder Rotana. It's wide open, 3/8 of a mile out. Al Pride has the lead. Possibly Perfect intensifying the pressure, and Possibly Perfect has taken the lead. Al Pride along the inside. Up on the outside, La Confederation, and Alice Springs is 4 wide and flying. They're coming to the final furlong, and Possibly Perfect has made the lead. On the outside, it's Alice Springs. In between, La Confederation. 70 yards to run, and Possibly Perfect is in front. Alice Springs, one more try. Al Pride at the rail, but Possibly Perfect was absolutely sensational, winning the Beverly D. A tight photo for Place and Show.
Stylistically, this race was a repeat of the Ramona at Del Mar 3 weeks ago. Again, the dawdling pace, 48-4 to the half, and then the sprint to the finish by Possibly Perfect, who had a perfect trip under Corey Nakatani. They flew at her from every angle. La Confederation 3 wide, Alice Springs 4 wide, and a gutsy Al Pride on the hedge wouldn't give in either. But Possibly Perfect is just some kind of race mare. She's won 11 of 15 now, 7 of her last 8, 8 of her last 10 under the nation's leading money-winning rider, Corey Nakatani. Now, let's see the photo for a second. I believe number 3, Alice Springs, will just get up and out-bob number 6, Al Pride. So I believe it's 7-3-6 with Possibly Perfect the winner. Alice Springs out-bobbing Al Pride, and La Confederation a tough luck fourth. A thriller here at Arlington. Let's go back to Dave Johnson.
And of course, Possibly Perfect, trained by Bobby Frankel, who's looking for a horse to take to the Breeders' Cup and get his first winner. That's the Beverly D. Don't go away. We have more. The Saratoga Cup Live and Senior Golf at the bottom of the hour on ESPN. The Beverly D are certainly on their way to the Breeders' Cup Championship in New York at Belmont Park, October the 28th. Now, another horse that chose the Windy City route was Black Tie Affair. In 1991, he prepped at Arlington International for this historic engagement in the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. Black Tie Affair took command right out of the gate as the only speed in the race. Jockey Jerry Bailey then slowed the pace with long shot Twilight Agenda on his coattails.
Buy So Free is poised in third position. Chief Honcho rallies on the outside. Marquetry is also right there. Summer Squall is still 6 lengths from the lead now. Unbridled is coming with his rally, but he's 7 lengths from the front with a furlong to go. And Black Tie Affair grimly trying to hold on to the lead. On the outside, Twilight Agenda. It'll be those two. Black Tie Affair on the inside. Twilight Agenda. Black Tie Affair. And a front-running masterpiece of race riding here by Jerry Bailey does it.
Jerry Bailey's skillful handling clinched the victory for Black Tie Affair, who went on to win Champion Older Horse and Horse of the Year honors as a result of his win in the 1991 Breeders' Cup Classic. Well, let's take a look at the unofficial order of finish. They developed the photograph, and it showed Alice Springs was second in the photo. Al Pride was third, but Possibly Perfect first under the wire, and that's the unofficial finish. We'll be back to Saratoga, nestled in the foothills of the Adirondacks, after these messages. A Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By Beechwood-aged Budweiser, it's always been true. This Bud's for you. By Direct TV, it's personalized TV. And by your Allstate agent. For home, auto, life, and business insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. So Possibly Perfect, the unofficial winner out at Arlington International. Looks like it's official. What's up, Bob Newmeyer?
Hey, you're down now, 6?
No, 9.
We're in the winner's circle, or just outside, with the principals here at Arlington as we make it official in the Beverly D. And with Bobby Frankel, no stranger to the winner's circle this year, inducted into the Hall of Fame just a couple of weeks ago, and Corey Nakatani, the nation's leading money-winning rider. And I want to talk about strategy in this race. No visible speed. Your horse could either go for the lead, sit off Alpride. I would talk about a chess match maybe between McCarron and Nakatani. What'd you tell him before the race?
Well, I told Corey that Alpride and our horse the only speed in the race, and if they want to let us have the lead, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, you're on your own.
But as they unfolded, you were comfortable with the fraction, sitting second off of 48 and 4 half?
When she moved up down the backside, I felt pretty good then.
What about you, Corey, in terms of the strategy and how it unfolded? I said it was almost a replica of the race at Del Mar about 3 weeks ago with a slow pace.
Well, I don't think it was a replica. Last time she had a lot of trouble in the race. I'm just fortunate to be in the spot to ride for Bobby and the owners, and unbelievable that the way she ran today. I let her break, and wherever she placed herself, I was going to go to the lead, but then I just let her run her race. I put her right in the spot where if she's good enough, she's going to win it, and she's good enough today, and she showed that she's the best filly in the country.
And they're flying at you here from all angles. Alice Springs on the outside, La Confederacion between horses, and that sneaky Chris McCarron had a little bit left with Alpride.
I tell you, the way the race set up, I thought Chris still had some horse left, and because we were going comfortable, and that's why I let her move up down the backside and just let her do it on her own. And when I asked her to go through the stretch, she really gave me a good kick. So she's definitely the best filly.
Well, after all, Mr. Frankel, we are racing to the Breeders' Cup. And last year, Hatuf won this race. He finished a nice second to Tikkanen. So the question is, you try to pull off the same gig with possibly Perfect in the Breeders' Cup?
I really don't think so. They have some pretty good stakes in California this year. The Yellow Ribbon is 600, the Matriarch 700, so I think we'll go home with her, and I think this will soap an eclipse of what for her after this race, so I'm very happy. I don't want to get too greedy.
And I know that we'll have you on tomorrow afternoon with Tinner's Way in the Arlington Million, and after the win in the Pacific Classic, he's got a shot tomorrow.
Well, I think so. I wouldn't have brought him here if I didn't, and he's in good form, and this made my weekend. Everything else is gravy after that.
All right, so let's make it official here at Arlington Racecourse. The winner, no surprise. The public loved her today, possibly Perfect, paying a short $340 to win, $260, $220. Alice Springs just out-bobbed Alpride for the place. The exacta paid $13.40. That's the story from Arlington Heights with a final Wittenauer time of 1:54 and 4. Bob Newmeyer with Bobby Frankel and Corey Nakatani. As you see, the splits of 48 and 4, 113, 137 and 2, and the final time of 1:54 and 4. We'll talk to you again tomorrow at the Arlington Million, but right now let's go back to the spa where it's about 20 degrees cooler. And Dave Johnson.
Thanks, Bob, and it is a delightful Saturday afternoon here. Another day in paradise at the spa. Big crowd on hand, and why not? They just watched and wagered on the Beverly D. The horses are in the paddock for the Saratoga Cup, and why don't we take a look at the odds, courtesy of Autotote. We have Silver Fox at 2-1, the second choice on the tote board. Unaccounted for is 6-5. You're missing the point at 10. Le Carriere at 3-1. Warm Wayne is at 15, and Swindle at 16, the longest price on the board. But probably one of the reasons Unaccounted for is the favorite is because of an important change of equipment, Charlesy.
Unaccounted for made his racing debut last year. He really turned some heads. Here was a good-looking, big, well-bred horse who looked like he could be any sort. 1 year later, he still looks like he could be any sort, only now he's got a little help. When Unaccounted For upset Tabasco Cat and the Jim Dandy here last summer, hopes were justifiably running high. But in a dramatic reversal of form, the colt was beaten over 35 lengths in his next two starts, the Travers and the Molson Million. Following a long winter vacation, Unaccounted For still couldn't find the winner's circle, prompting trainer Scotty Schulhofer to reluctantly reach for a pair of blinkers.
He wasn't winning. He looked like he needed something to put his mind, get him more focused, and that's why I put him on. Some horses, it makes them relax, which, and others, it sharpens them up. It gets them more focused, keeps their mind on the business, not looking around so much. That's about all. I'm not a big blinker person anyhow.
But apparently Unaccounted For may be a big blinker horse. Wearing what's known as the Rogues badge for the first time, he won an allowance race by 9 widening lengths. Then in the Whitney 3 weeks ago, he was shuffled back early, and jockey Pat Day was still looking for a place to go with a 1/4 mile left.
A couple of other horses run by on the outside, and so when I came to the head of the stretch, I was still stuck in behind horses. I was able to work my way eventually to the outside, and when I did, this horse leveled off and really fired big, and run by his horses pretty quick, and then kind of lightened up a little bit the last part of the race. So in all reality, he only ran about 1/8 of a mile. But it was a very big effort. He was very focused. I mean, he was there all the way and very responsive, and I was very pleased with his effort.
Whether the blinkers are the key or simply time and maturity, the Morven stud colt is on top of his game and headed towards the Breeders' Cup Classic.
He's matured a whole lot, and I think he's still maturing. And this fall, he should, hopefully everything will work well, and we'll get to challenge the champ. He's a good horse, that's all I can say.
Well, in order to prove he's the good horse Scotty Schulhofer believes he is, Unaccounted For must concede from 7 to 12 pounds to his rival here this afternoon in the Saratoga Cup. Dave?
Saratoga, the turning point of the American Revolution with the Battle of Saratoga in 1777. Another battle coming up here in just a few minutes. Stay with us for Racing to the Breeders' Cup. Money won in Breeders' Cup races. Number 3. You're missing the point. A question mark at this distance, but he does have some early speed, and he gets in carrying 108 pounds. And Julie Crone, who had 2 winners yesterday, including the Seneca Handicap, is the new rider. There's the 4-horse Le Carrière, second to Unaccounted For in the Whitney. He had a blazing workout here on Tuesday. He is on his toes. Look for him to be up front with his new rider, Jerry Bailey, leading rider of the meet, and the jockey who has won the Breeders' Cup Classic 3 times. Number 5, Warm Wayne, a son of Affirmed, best off a fast pace. He is stepping up in class, and Jose Santos, a 5-time Breeders' Cup winner, replaces Bailey, who, as we said, took them out on Le Carrière. And completing the field, number 6, Swindle, who won here at Saratoga, pressing the pace 2 weeks ago, trained by Alan Jerkins and ridden by Katie Sweeney, 27-year-old Miami native who grew up in Denver, where she worked in a library for 3 years as a teenager to get enough money as a nest egg to finance her trip back to Florida and begin her education as a rider. And here she is, riding in a stakes race at Saratoga. Let's go back to the paddock and Charles C. Kent.
Would you like the identity of the hottest hand at Saratoga? Well, the name is Bond, James Bond. He saddled 7 winners of 18 starters, but your best performance, maybe, James, was second when Le Carrière was second in the Whitney.
Yeah.
And you'd like to turn the tables on Unaccounted For today. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, with Jerry Bailey aboard, that's going to help quite a bit. The colt's been doing well, and we picked up a little bit give him a little weight advantage to Unaccounted For. And with a little bit of break and racing luck, hopefully we can stretch it out.
Well, he had a little bit of pressure on him in the Whitney. We'll take a look at that. Joe Bravo was aboard that day. There you are along the rail in the blue and white.
Well, Joe did a great job on the horse. The horse broke a little slow that day, and he got him right up there quick. And like I say, Unaccounted For really just blows by us here. But this horse came right back game, and like I say, he's got a lot of heart and a lot of stamina, and the pedigree, hopefully he'll carry some out of quarter. His daddy won here, won the Travers, and his mother's produced some great horses over in Europe, and hopefully he'll do the same.
All right, well, good luck to you with Le Carrière, New York bred gelding. Dave, back to you.
Well, Unaccounted For right now is the 4 to 5 choice. And if you were watching the Whitney, you know that Tom Durkin dished out that winner. Let's see if he can do it again for the Saratoga Cup.
Dish out the winners, presented by DirecTV.
Let's dish out the winners, shall we? Unaccounted For, he looks like the obvious pick, and he looks unbeatable. Some people will argue about the weight, but hey, he's only carrying 120 pounds. It's not that much. Warm Wayne had a few interruptions in his training this spring, but he's back on track and looks good today. And Le Carrière, who hasn't run a bad race since the Saratoga Cup was 2.5 miles. Recapping the winners as we dish them out, Unaccounted For, Warm Wayne, and Le Carrière.
And they're on their way to the starting gate for 1.25 miles in the Saratoga Cup. We hope you'll be back with us after this brief timeout. 3:30 on Wednesday afternoon. We'll bring you up to date on what's happening in thoroughbred racing, quarter horse racing, and Caesar's Odds is next. Let's take a look at what's happening in the Breeders' Cup Classic. 9 weeks to go. Cigar the big 7-5 favorite, Concern, who won this race, who won the Breeders' Cup Classic last year, is 7-2. Thunder Gulch, 3-year-old who just took the Travers at 5-1. Soul of the Matter, owned by Burt Bacharach, is 8. Tinner's Way, what a versatile performer. Winner of the $1 million Pacific Classic on the dirt, and horse who's going to go in the 1 1/4 Arlington Million tomorrow is 12-1, but that's for the Classic. And Unaccounted For, who was 40-1 before the Whitney, is now 30-1. He's favored here at 4-5, though, today for this race. But we don't like 4-5. We need a long shot. So let's take a look for our Budweiser long shot. Here comes today's Budweiser long shot. And here comes the bride. Number 3, You're Missing the Point, is the horse. And jockey Julie Crone is the soon-to-be bride. She'll change from those pink and black silks into a white wedding gown in just a few hours to become Mrs. Michael Muzikar. And before she puts that circle of gold on her finger, we hope she brings number 3, You're Missing the Point, into that circle of white that they call the winner's circle here at Saratoga as today's Budweiser long shot. 16-1. The 4th choice on the board, but Unaccounted For is certainly the favorite. Let's check all the odds as they march with just 2 minutes to post time. Silver Fox with Mike Smith, who's had 1 winner, is at 5-2. Unaccounted For, Pat Day has 2 winners. He's looking for his 3rd of the afternoon, carrying 120 pounds. Unaccounted For is the 4-5 favorite. You're Missing the Point is at 16. Le Carriere, Bailey looking for his 3rd winner of the day at 3. Warm Wayne is at 17, and Swindle at 21-1. Charlesy?
Well, they might not let Swindle be too long a price, because look at the credentials to this horse. Swindle is a beautifully bred colt. He's by private account out of Number. He's trained by Hall of Famer Alan Jerkins. He's got a winning race over the track. And what did I say, Alan Jerkins? Hobo Farm is the owner. Why, this is the same connection that upset Secretariat with Onion. And Alan Jerkins has already pulled 1 big upset this year with inside information, so we best beware of a lightly weighted speedy horse named Swindle and Alan Jerkins.
Hey, speaking of weight, Silver Fox is 5 pounds over at the 113 as he has moved in the line, and with half the field loaded, let's go to the top of the stands here at historic Saratoga and track announcer Tom Durkin.
And Warm Wayne moving into line. There's Le Carriere, who could be a speed factor here. Warm Wayne moving in post 5, and Swindle to his outside. Swindle's got some speed, too. There's Katie Swinney. What a big day it would be for her. They're in the gate.
1 second, 1 second.
And they're off. You're Missing the Point comes out running on the lead, but Swindle is also there on the outside. Warm Wayne has speed, and La Carriere. 4 of them scrimmaging for the lead as they move by us for the first time, with Silver Fox and Unaccounted For at the back of the pack. And La Carriere is sent to the lead. Jerry Bailey puts him in front. Swindle is right there. You're Missing the Point down inside, now running in 3rd position and up close to the pace. Warm Wayne on the outside is running in 4th. Unaccounted For takes to the rail now, just ahead of the trailer Silver Fox. Silver Fox is 6 lengths behind front running Le Carriere, and the pace is nonchalant. The opening quarter went in 23 4/5 seconds. It's La Carriere, the leader, as they make their way into the backstretch, and there's only mild pressure now from Katie Swinney and Swindle. You're Missing the Point just in behind. Warm Wayne is right there, just off the lead, rating in 4th. Unaccounted For is comfortable running in 5th position now, and Pat Day guides him to the outside now after a half in 49 1/5 seconds. A pokey pace in the Saratoga Cup. Unaccounted For now. Pat Day, sensing that slow pace, is making a dramatic move to the lead early, 4.5 furlongs out. As they hit the half-mile pole, the Carriere still with the short lead, then sharing the lead now with Swindle as they make their way on the far turn. Unaccounted For is poised in 3rd position. You're Missing the Point is 4th. Then it's 3 lengths back. Silver Fox now launching a bet. He's got a lot to do, still 7 or 8 lengths behind. Warm Wayne retreats to the back of the pack as they come to the top of the stretch. La Carriere and Swindle still heads apart as they turn for home. Unaccounted for, swings into action. You're missing the point. Is fourth on the outside. La Carriere burning clear. La Carriere leaving the others in his wake, opening up here by 3. Unaccounted for, trying to make a late run here, but it is La Carriere who has new life in the stretch and is opening up. La Carriere wins it here under a skillful ride by Jerry Bailey. He won by 6. You're missing the point was second, and Unaccounted for was third. Well, Jerry Bailey, just a master, throttling down La Carriere's speed to a half in 49.1. Too good a horse to let go at that slow pace. And when they hit the stretch, he took up.
Speed kills, and pace is everything, especially when they go the half in 49.1, and the guy on the front end is Jerry Bailey. And they're making their way from Virginia Kraft Payson's box. Mr. Bond coming down to give some congratulations to Jerry Bailey for his 3rd winner of the afternoon. And speaking of 3, he was 3-1. Let's take a look at the stretch drive. It was in the stretch that La Carriere, who got 3/4 of a mile in 1:13.1 and the mile in 1:37.4, just sprinted away. The final time for the 10 furlongs, a slow 2:02.4 for this group. But La Carriere, a New York bred, in New York this afternoon, leaves them all behind. Julie Crone, not quite a wedding present, finishing second with the 3-horse. You're missing the point at 18-1, and Unaccounted for, the 4-5 favorite, 3rd under the wire. But it's unofficially La Carriere winning the Saratoga Cup. We'll be right back at the spot. Payson has just congratulated Jerry Bailey, who's wearing the blue and white colors of the Payson barn, and he's on his way now to weigh in, make sure he carried that 113 pounds that he was assigned. And La Carriere is going back to the barn area here at Saratoga. It was his 7th career victory in 15 starts, and we'll go to Tom Durkin and see how he did it.
Congratulations. He did it by taking the favorite Unaccounted for completely out of his game. In front right now is La Carriere. The horse that is second to last is Unaccounted for. They have just entered the backstretch. This quarter in the race, the 3rd quarter in the race, went in 24 seconds flat. Now, Unaccounted for was 5 lengths behind. He will shoot up toward the lead. He ran his 3rd quarter in 23 seconds. When you're going 1.25 miles, you just can't win doing that. In the meantime, there's plenty left for La Carriere. There you see Unaccounted for making that rush down the backstretch. It's really not Pat Day's game. He doesn't ride like that, but he had no other choice. What was he to do? Just let La Carriere do it all the way on the lane. So now as they move toward the top of the stretch, Swindle, who was right alongside La Carriere, trying to get by. La Carriere is just too much horse, and Unaccounted for swings into gear as they move toward the finish line. By the way, La Carriere would not have been eligible to run in this race under the old conditions of the Saratoga Cup. They didn't let in geldings. Let's go to Charleston.
Well, the shift in weight aside and the pace aside, Pat Day is second-guessing himself a little bit, Pat, but I don't know what else you could have done, as Tom Durkin said.
Well, the way the race unfolded, I thought I'd done the right thing at the time, but, you know, the other day, the race set up perfect for this colt. There was realistic pace in the race. He was well-placed at all times, but I never had a chance to turn him loose till we turned into the stretch, the last 3/16 of a mile. Today, I felt like they were walking in front of us. I said, I need to go up there and put some pressure on him if I'm going to outrun him. I eased my horse out and let him just ease to him very nicely. I thought up the backside and into the turn. I thought I was right where I wanted to be when we turned for home, but when I called on him, there was nothing there. I'm sort of believing that maybe he's the kind of horse that just has even though he feels like he's going to him easy, he's just got a 1/4 mile run to him.
Well, we'll find that out the next time he runs, but thanks for taking the time. We'll go back to Dave.
And there's the trophy presentation. Virginia Kraft Payson accepting the cup, the Saratoga Cup. And we'll be back to talk to Mrs. Payson after these brief words. Welcome back to Saratoga, where the Saratoga Cup is official. Let's take a look at the prices. Le Carriere, $810, $470, $260. You're missing the point. Pays $1023. The 2-horse, that was unaccounted for, $2.20. The exact, a nice payoff, $125.50. And the full order shows Le Carriere, you're missing the point, and unaccounted for, finishing third. The 4th horse was number 1, Silver Fox. Then it was Swindle and Warm Wayne. The Wittenauer splits in the Saratoga Cup with a final time of 2 minutes 2 4/5 seconds. As we said, very, very slow. 49 and change, 113, 137 and change. And Virginia Craft Payson is alongside. Those fractions must have brought a smile to your face during the contest.
All through. I mean, I think Jerry rode an absolutely brilliant race. And to do a 49 1/2, he was doing it his way.
And you must take special pride because of the bloodlines of this horse.
This is my great blue hen family of Northern Sunset. Le Carriere is a half-brother to Saint Jovite, who was the best horse to race anywhere in the world in 1992, 8 pounds higher than the next best horse to run. And the whole family has been spectacular. Salem Drive, Laquanette, Saint Jovite, Le Carriere.
You going to the Breeders' Cup?
We don't know yet. I leave that to my trainer.
Well, we hope to see you on October the 28th at Belmont Park. Let's find out. Charlesy.
Well, I've got the trainer right here. He already told me how he was going to win the race, and he did. Now, are you going to the Breeders' Cup or not?
Well, we'll have to discuss it. We'll talk about it afterwards and see how he cools out and go from there. But today was a thrill, and he beat some nice horses, and you got to give Jerry Bailey a lot of the credit. He rode a great race and slowed it down, and I think he won it the first half a mile.
Well, we're going to take a look at the replay from the top of the stretch, and there Jerry Bailey has got him. He slowed it down, as you said. Jerry has won 3 Breeders' Cup Classics already. He may wind up with a choice for this year's Classic.
Well, like I say, the competition is pretty strong, but this horse ran great today, and we'll be very happy with today, and hopefully tomorrow we'll go on forward.
What would be your next tentative stop if you do go to the Breeders' Cup?
I'm not really sure at this time. We were just kind of happy to get through today. I mean, we do have the Wood and a few other spots, and I don't know if we want to hook Cigar yet, unless it gets real serious for serious money. So, but we're real happy. The horse ran really well, and like I say, my hat's off to Jerry with a great ride.
Well done for all parts here. Congratulations. And now we'll go up to Tom Durkin.
Look at Rick Quinn. Go, Tom Durkin.
Well, all of the races in the handicap division now have to be viewed in the context of Cigar. Cigar is by far and away the best. So we'll take a look at Le Carriere's effort in that context this afternoon. He's okay, getting good. He's close, but he's no Cigar. Dave?
Well, join us right back here tomorrow, racing to the Breeders' Cup as we check out the 2-year-old division of the Hopeful and the Arlington Million. A great afternoon in store for you tomorrow.